Hello all, Namaskara. Yes, welcome to the BCom second semester syllabus and classes. Rani Chennamma University, Belgavi. My name is Shivanand Hiremat, Assistant Professor, Government First Aid College, Nisargi. Um, as you can see on your screen, the poem which we are gonna discuss today is The Chimney Sweeper, written by the famous romantic poet William Blake. William Blake is called as the precursor of Romanticism. He lived in the 18th century, and the industrialization in England when he was living impacted on the poor kids, especially poor people, and because of that reason, in those days in England, people used to make the children use to sweep their chimneys in the home, because being the Mediterranean climatic country, England was very cold. Now also it's very cold, and because of that reason, each and every house, or we may say home, used to have a chimney. Chimney means the place in the home where the fire will be lit, and from that fire the smoke needs to go out. The pipe which helps the smoke to go out from home is called as the chimney, and it has to be cleaned frequently because it will be on ever and ever. So to clean it, it's not possible. The industrialization, or we may say the modernism, or we may say uh, the improvement or the development in that aspect was not such, was not to that extent then. So it was to be cleaned manually. So chimneys used to be a bit small in size, so the cleaner should be very simple, small, poor kit. That's how the chimney sweeper cult arose, especially the orphans, or the kids who will be lost their parents, and the kids like this are used to clean the chimneys. So by observing this, William Blake has written this poem. Until now we had gone to the background of this poem. In this poem, and this poem is selected from the collections of Songs of Innocence by William Blake, and the same titled poem is also there in the Songs of Experience. So in this poem, The Chimney Sweeper, the poet William Blake throws light on how a kid, that is the chimney sweep, looks at the other kid, as well as how he lives, and how he gets tired, and how he dies, and what he thrives for, so and so forth. Especially in this poem, uh, it is a story-like way, and the poem goes on, and the I in the poem is a small kid, we may say the hero. He tells about the dream of his friend, and later on, through some images, through some symbols, the poet tries to depict how difficult it was for the kids, and how by bad luck they die. That is how the things go on. Let us look at the poem physically, and as you can see on your screen, the chimney sweeper kids used to be like this. Yes, and this poem is written by, as we have been told that William Blake, who lived in 18th century, he born in 1757. Let's see the poem in a very simple, which in a very simple way, and the words are so simple as well. I would like to read the poem first, okay, and you are requested to observe the words, the usage of the words, and very simple. My request is look at the picture. Yes, how simple, how different, and how even in the middle of much difficulty, how the smile of a kid is really nice. The creator might be a good artist, all right. And for your kind information, William Blake was also a painter. Yes, he used to paint as well. And let's see the poem, right. See, when my mother died, I was very young. Dear friends, as I told you in this poem, the word I is a small kid who is telling about himself as well as his friend, right. Now, when my mother died, I was very young, and my father sold me while yet my tongue could scarcely cry, weep, 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 weep. So, your chimneys I sweep, and in soot I sleep. Next stanza, there's little Dom Dax, who cried when his head that curled like a lamb's back was shaved. So I said, "Hush, Tom, never mind it, for when your head's bare, you know that the soot cannot spoil your white hair." Yes, the next stanza, and so he was quite, yes, and so he was quite, sorry, and so he was quiet, and Tom was sleeping. He had such a sight that thousands of speakers, Dick, Joe, Ned, and Jack, were all of them locked up in coffins of black. Right? And next stanza, and by came an angel who had a bright key, and he opened the coffins and set them all free. Then down a green plain, leaping, laughing, they run, and wash in a river and shine in the sun. Yes. Next stanza. Then naked and white, all their bags left behind, they rise upon clouds and sport in the wind. And the angel told Tom if he would be a good boy, he would have God for his father and never want joy. The last paragraph. And so Tom awoke, and we rose in the dark, and got with our bags and our brushes to work. Though the morning was cold, Tom was happy and warm. So if all do their duty, they need not fear harm. So like this, it's a simple one night story, we may say. The friend of this little kid, that is Tom Dacker, who sees a dream. The word for the dream here is used as a sight, right? And now look at the story, or look at the life of these chimney sweepers. Yes, let's learn the things line by line. We can also show some lights on the usage of the literary terms in this poem. Simple, okay. When my mother died, I was very young. The meaning of this line is that he is a very small, very little kid when he was telling this, or when his mother died. He was very small, very young, means almost of 4 to 5 years of age. Only 4 to 5 years of age. And my father sold me. Sold is, as you know, the sold is the word for the past tense of sell, and his father means the boy who is telling this all the things, and his father sold him while, when he was sold, even at that time my tongue could scarcely means very difficultly, right, almost not possible, even for what, for just to cry, weep, weep, weep means even the boy was not able to cry correctly. At that age, he was sold by his poor father and he lost his mother as well. Even you people can understand this situation cannot be imagined in our life, because without parents it's highly difficult to live in the society. It's almost horrible then in the 18th century, okay, because it was very difficult for the people, for the kids to live without parents then and ever, because orphans face very much difficulty, because yes, because the people around them won't help unless they work, they won't get food even, right? So your chimneys I sweep. So he in this line, the poet William Blake is directly pointing fingers towards the readers at that time when he wrote this poem. Means the people who used to take the boys to clean their chimneys, this sentence or this statement is directly addressed to them, because he says your chimneys, means all the people who reads this, your chimneys I sweep. Sweep means clean. Yes, look here, he has something in his hand, it is used to clean the that chimney, right? And in soot I sleep. Soot means the black thing which will be there inside the chimney, okay, what he is supposed to clean. Yes, the black carbon, that will be there inside the chimney, that is called soot. In soot I sleep. For your kind information, my dear friends, many boys then even died and face difficulty, even they were affected with cancer, lung cancers, like, because that black soot made them to breathe, made them difficulty in breathing, and even much of the boys who stuck inside the chimneys were not able to come out and they died inside there. At last their skeletons were found. This was some historical information. So like this was the situation of these people, the poor chimney sweeper. Yes, let's move. This the in the first stanza, the poet tells us about a simple boy, and it is just an introduction in 4 lines, in a poetical lines. Yes, that is the boy was very small, and when he was very small, he lost his mother, and his father sold him for the chimney sweeper's company. Right. Then in those days, some good people, or we may say some worst people, have to have a group of kids who used to give those kids to clean the chimneys to other houses, right, other people's house. Now in the next paragraph, that is, there is little Tom Dacre. He is pointing to a friend, that he is Tom Dacre, who cried, who means that Tom Dacre cried when his head, okay, that Tom Dacre head was that looked like a lamb's back, because he had a curly hair. Who had a curly hair? Tom Dacre had a curly hair. His curly hair head was looked like lamb's back. It is a simile. Usage of the word like, that is a simile, and the poet is comparing the head of the Tom Dacre to a lamb's back. Means it looks like very beautifully lambsome. Okay, the lamb is almost the poetical device used to depict the innocence, right? It is also used in Bible as well, just to tell us about the Jesus Christ as well. Sometimes lamb is symbolic of innocence as well as Jesus Christ. Now that curl like a lamb's back, whose head curled like a lamb's back? That Tom Dacre head was curled like lamb's back. And when this Tom Dacre cried, when it was shaved, that Tom Dacre head was shaved and he cried. So at that time, the hero kid, he said, so I said, hush Tom. He is convincing Tom, okay, he is curing the Tom's okay, pain, we may say. Yes, he is convincing the Tom that don't mind, Tom, never mind it, in other way he is convincing that whatever you may lose, it will be a gain for something. So look here, if you never mind it, don't mind Decker, Tom Decker, for when your head's bare means without, bare means without anything, without, like this means without hair, we may say here, heads bare. When your head's bare, you know that the suit cannot spoil your white hair, because when the head is bare, there will be no hair, right? And that suit cannot spoil his white hair because there will be no hair. Look at his convincing nature. So don't worry if you are lost with your hair, okay, if your head is shaved, don't worry, because that suit, where the suit we can find, we can find soot in the chimneys. That soot cannot spoil your or cannot make dirty your white hair. Look at the way of convincing. Look at the age. It was a small, mere, almost little age kid, and he has an extraordinary kind of a convincing nature, especially this we may say the impact of peer group. It is true everywhere. Yes, yes, the soot of the chimney cannot spoil the white hair of Tom. That is how the hero boy convinces his friend. And let's see the next stanza. Yes, and so he was quiet, and that very night, as Tom was sleeping, he had such a sight. Okay, after convincing, Tom goes to sleep quietly, and at that very night, means at the same night, Tom appears to vision, Tom appears to see a sight. A sight means here a dream, or we may say we see a sight even when we are awakened. Yes, it's an imagination, we may say. Who appears to see a sight? Yes, that is Tom. Tom experiences a sight, or we may say Tom experiences a dream. What is that dream? That thousands of sweepers like him, thousands of sweepers, we may say. The names named here are common names of English: Dick, Joe, Ned and Jack and all. Okay, Dick, Joe, Ned and Jack, all of them locked up in coffins of black. This imagery, look, this symbol, coffins of black, means the worst type of practices of those days. We may say, my dear friends, you should understand, you should know that the word coffin means it's a cloth used to cover the body of dead. Okay, and usually we use the white cloth, but here it is coffins of black. Black means just imagine the chimney inside. Okay, inside the chimney everything will be black there. All of them were struck inside the chimney. We may understand like this way, or we may see that coffins of black means all of them are dead inside that chimney. So if any person imagines his difficulty when he was sleeping, he may be at the verge of, he may be at the set of experiencing the same thing in his dream as well. So when this Tom was sleeping, it was difficult for him, because his work was to clean the soot of those chimneys. He also looking at the same thing, the same worst horrible thing in his dream as well. Psychologically, relation will be there. What we experience a day, we can visualize that the nearest or the related things in our dreams. Yes, this is how coffins of black means almost they were dead and they were covered in the black coffins. Yes, this is how what is this? This is the dream. This is the sight. Whose sight? That Tom's. Okay, that Tom is telling all those things, and our narrator, the boy, is telling to us. The boy is narrating that story to us. And after that, and by came an angel. Yes, look at there. An angel also will be there. Means an angel means a hope. Look at that. Here it is the death, and here it is in the form of an angel. It's a hope. Okay, it's a new beginning, right? And by came an angel means even after anybody face difficulty, there will be a hope. This is how the poet depicts hope and difficulty in the form of this poem, right? Who had a bright key. Look, every angel means every survivor, or we may say every person, or in the form of God who comes to help, should have something magical, right? He had a bright key. Who had a bright key? An angel had a bright key. Bright key may be anything. For example, bright key may be a mind, brilliant mind for the students. Okay, bright key for, we may say an idea when people will be stuck in the difficult situation. Whatever you can imagine, because poem gives us a open set of thoughts. You can imagine whatever you like, and that is how a bright key. Who had a bright key? An angel had a bright key to open. Okay, what the angel used that bright key to? He opened the coffins. Means that angel had come to help him. It is all being happened in the dream of Tom. And who opened the coffin? An angel opened the coffins. What type of coffins? Black coffins, means that difficulty. We may say chains. Okay, those black chimney sweepers were struck in the chains of the leaders, and they were not supposed to think of anything beyond their work. Okay, that is how they were made free. Means this boy, inside the heart of his hearts, inside the thoughts of his thoughts, he had something that he should be made free from this worst type of work. That is how he visualizes there in his dreams. Someone in the form of angel comes to him, and he opens that coffins and set them free. This is what the freedom. Okay, the independence. They are freed from their work. That is how he was thinking in his dream. Now, after they were made free, then down the green plain, leaping, laughing, they run. Look, immediately after they were made free, they ran down to a green plain. Look at the word green plain. That is how these kids were not at all had the time to look at the outside. Okay, beyond chimney and the food, they had no time to look towards any beautiful environment, any beautiful nature. That is why he is experiencing all those things in the dreams. And this is the green plain, maybe whatever. Yes, you can imagine it for whatever the green plain is, may stand for the independence, the freedom, the beautiful nature, the beautiful thing beyond his work, like this. And how he runs, he just doesn't walk simply. He leaps, he jumps twice. That is how he leaps, and he laughs. That is also almost forgotten when he was at work. Okay, he is experiencing everything when they were all set free in the dream. And they run and look, wash in a river and shine in the sun. All those things are forbidden for them when they were on work, when they were at work. That is how all those things, the man's desire, which was stuck inside his heart of hearts, or we may say he's inside his mind, will get expressed even in his dreams, especially in his dreams. See, all these things you can understand. Yes, and these boys who were made all free in the dreams, they run, they leap, and they laugh, and they wash their body in a river, because when a kid is supposed to walk in a chimney, How can he be able to come out and wash in a river? Because it takes so much of time to wash chimney, and it will be very difficult for them to drink and eat pure water as well as pure food. It was not at all possible then. Look at the desire of the boy. Yes, and this is how the things go on. And in the dream, Tom says that they wash. They means all the boys. Look here, who Dick, Joe, Ned, Jack, Tom, and all those boys, all they wash themselves in a river and shine in the sun. That is how they want to experience the beautiful nature. Yes, and then last in the next stanza, then naked and white, all their bags left behind. Yes, they had no time to see themselves in the mirror that they are white. Okay, all their bodies looks almost black because they used to wear the black cloths. Okay, and they were supposed to, because they are to supposed to walk with the suit inside the dark area, that is almost a small chimney. That was even, my dear friends, if you are able to understand what my feeling is, that's very difficult. How can a small kid aging 4 to 6 years will be there inside the chimney for almost 8 to 10 hours? And how can he able to survive? How can he able to drink and eat pure food and water? That's difficult. That's also very difficult to imagine as well. That is how that boy is imagining themselves, that they are all white and their bags left behind. They are not worrying about their bags. Yes, they rise upon clouds. Look at the imagination. Means he is totally happy. He was on a cloud nine, we may say. That's the phrase used, that to mean it's very happy mood. Yes, they all go on clouds. Yes, they have got the wings now, right? That is how the things are imagined by the poet here. And sport in the wind, they play with the wind there. Yes, they play with the wind. That is how it was the intention, it was the desire of the boy, which was forcefully stopped, which was forcefully struck inside the mind of the boy. That is all experienced, that is all imagined in his dream. And the angel told Tom, okay, at last angel tells the Tom that if he would be a good boy, see, these words were regularly told to all the chimney sweepers, because those small kids supposed to be inside the dark area of chimney, and many times they used to reject, but they were forced to do their work. But when they make some extraordinary rejection type of thing, that they used to tell them, they used to console them, that if he would be a good boy, then his father will be there in the heaven happily like this, and his father would be like God. Now what the angel tells to Tom, that if he would be a good boy, he would have God for his father. Means his father will be helped by the God. So like this, it was an emotional blackmail. We may say directly that it was an emotional blackmail that was experienced by the chimney sweepers like Tom and Dick and Joe and all those kids. It was an emotional blackmail like this. If he would be a good boy, and the God will save his father like that, and never want joy. I face difficulty to understand what this never want joy, and you can enjoy, he might have said. Let's see, let's contact some other experts to see what this line means, and never want joy. Okay, and his father will be given joy forever, he might have meant, right? And yes, after all this dream, this poem is totally a dream of Tom, right? And that dream is told by the narrator to we people. That is how, see, simply I would like to throw some light on that. The kids who used to be inside the dark chimney almost for days together, have some feelings, emotions struck inside them. Many times, as I have reminded you just before some time, that many kids were not able to come out of those tiny chimneys. Okay, that is how they lost their lives. Okay, but it was a practice then in the England. It was an industrial era. Okay, and the slavery was practiced then. That was bad conduct, that was a bad practice in those days, and it was abolished after some years there. And so last paragraph or last stanza we miss. And so Tom awoke is the past tense of awake, and after visioning all this dream, and at last Tom awoke from the dream, and we rose. We means who here? Tom and the narrator. Okay, and all the chimney sweepers. Those got up from the sleep, because Tom and all the boys slept after consoled by the narrator to the Tom. They slept, and after visualizing all this dream, we rose. So the word rose is here. See how it means again. We rose. Rose is actually, if we take it for a name, it's a flower. If we take it for a verb, it's the past tense of rise. So here, yes, we rose in the dark. See, all those tiny white small boys were like roses. But where are they? In the dark. Symbol, very beautiful symbol of the society then. Yes, we rose in the dark. Means literally meaning, the line tells us that they got up from their sleep and got with our bags and our brushes to work. Look here, it is that this brush they used to clean that chimney. Yes, and now they set out for their duties, their work, because that was inevitable for them. That was not at all the other way. To go out, to go beyond their imagination, to go, that difficulty was faced by many kids. My heart is shrinking that even if I am reading this poem, it would be difficult for me to imagine how kids experience such a horrible incident inside that chimney. Now what about their real kids would have experienced? That's really horrible, that terrible to enjoy, sorry, terrible to imagine as well. Yes, and they're with the brush in their hands and bags on their back. Though the morning was cold, morning was not good, it was cold. The cold word used in English almost depicts the bad things. That the morning was cold, Tom was happy and warm because he visualized something beautiful in his dream. Who was happy and warm? Tom was happy and warm. But why? Because in his dream he visualized an angel who comes and opens the coffins and sets them free. All this with a optimistic attitude, optimism he experienced in his dream. Because of that reason, he is happy and warm. So if all do their duty, they need not fear harm. This is a beautiful statement, beautiful lesson to each and every people across the globe, that if we do our duty, they need not fear harm. And it reminds me of the statement by Basavanna, the Kannada writer. Okay, the Kannada, we may say Vachana writer, or in Kannada it is called as Vachanakara, a revolutionary writer, that he says work is worship. Simply the extension of that phrase is, if you do your duty, you are not supposed to fear for anyone. If all do their duty, they need not fear harm. That is how it is indirectly tells us that we have to do our duty. This is told by that small kid. Okay, this statement is given by the poet in the form of that small kid. This is a message. We have to do our duty. Look at the status, look at the way how those small chimney sweepers lived. Look at their worst type of life. how to what extent they had faced difficulty. It is not at all possible to imagine now. It's really a wonderful poem we have read, and and almost we have experienced. Thank you very much for listening to this poem, and I will be coming with the other poem in the next class. Thank you all. Take care. Be at home, at especially safe, because this corona is killing us. So be safe at home. Thank you very much. Bye bye.